What's up, my people? It's your guy, Dynamics, and I'm here with another one of Boss Reactions. What's up, guys? Okay, so I got some good ones today. Oh, also, I want to mention that today is Halloween where I'm at right now. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of parties going on and trick-or-treating happening tonight. So definitely, if you're going to go out, definitely be safe. It's also that time of the year where a lot of criminalistic, situations happen. I don't want to have to like be reacting to one of your videos on Boss Reactions, basically. So let's try and keep everything safe, definitely, and do everything smart. So all right. So today I'm gonna do a little bit extra. I'm not gonna do just the normal two videos. I'm gonna try and do three. All right. So I'm bringing someone new that I'm going to react to today, and that will be YouTuber by the name of Julian Magic. He's pretty cool. I like the way his videos are. He's a magician, a modern day magician. So he's obviously got all the CGI down pat, all the gadgets, all the mechanisms, the show and the fireworks. So everything's good. I got his YouTube channel, what stuff going, and also have some Halloween YouTubers called Meet the Lobsters. Meet the Lobsters is a couple YouTube team, and they're pretty good as well. They're pretty popular. So they have millions of subscribers and views as well too. Definitely go check them out. Also I have one from well, I'm not too sure what I'm gonna do for the third one. I was gonna do a third video, so uh, I'll probably go with something I feel familiar with. But anyway, all right. So let's go ahead and continue with that. All right. So all right. Next, I want to mention our Cash App is right here. If you want to help the development of Boss Reactions, definitely donate whatever you feel like. It will definitely help develop the channel. Also, if you want any Boss merch, you can get a Boss hat. You can get Boss merchandise, T-shirts, whatever the case may be. Just contact the About section on the Boss Reactions YouTube channel. You'll see the phone number and email there, and I will definitely get back in contact with you. We have everything from T-shirts, customized T-shirts, hats. If you want your name on them, you can also request that as well. And also we have chains as well too, gold and silver. Definitely. All right, so let's get on with the show. All right, so we're going to start off with Julian Magic.
Brett loses his balance and somehow lets go of the mangrove root and slips down the steep embankment, and suddenly the current takes him away from his friends and out to the middle of this river, and before long he's getting pulled downstream. And so he yells out to Ashley and Sean, who had their backs turned to him. They turn around, they see their friend, and they instinctively leap into the river to try to go get him and help swim him back to the side. Now, all three of them were very competent swimmers, and so this was not a high panic situation. This was more like a inconvenience and maybe a little bit funny, and so that's why they leapt in no problem. They figured, worst case scenario is we'll drift somewhere down there and we'll get out and we'll walk our way back to our car. But as soon as Sean and Ashley were free floating in this river, they felt how strong this current was, and it was way stronger than they were anticipating. And so they actually started to get a little bit worried, and they looked up ahead of them, and Brett, who had been in the water for 10 or 15 seconds before they leapt in, he had already moved way farther downstream than them. And so they decided, you know what, we have to get out, but we need to get to Brett first. We all need to get out at the same place. And so they decide they're going to swim downstream, meet up with Brett, and then get the heck out of that river as fast as they possibly can. And then all of a sudden, Ashley just yells out, "Hey, I see something in the water. We need to get out. Find the nearest tree. Get out, get out, get out." And so Sean, he starts panicking. He doesn't even turn around to see what's going on behind him. Adrenaline kicks in, and he swims as fast as he possibly can to a tree that's popped out of the river. It's literally growing in the middle of the river. And so he swims up to this tree. He manages to climb up to the first fork of the tree, which is maybe 6 or 8 feet above the water. And as soon as he's up there, he turns around and looks down, and he sees Ashley. He reaches down and he hoists Ashley up to the first fork with him. And then the pair turn around again to grab Brett, but Brett's not there. And so they look around, they're thinking, okay, did Brett not make it to the tree? Did the current pull him around? Is he at some other tree? They're yelling out for him, they're looking for him, but there's no Brett. And then all of a sudden, Sean notices something yellow flash beneath them in the water. And so he looks straight down and he sees this yellow thing down there. And so he nudges Ashley and he says, "Look." And so Ashley looks down, and as they're looking, they're about 10 feet off the water at this point. They see this yellow thing start rising up to the surface.
Okay, so let me understand this. So, okay, all three boys got. Okay, one of the boys lost his gripping on the side of the river, that where the tree stumps were or whatever, and the current took them out down the stream in this river. So it was three boys. So the other two boys let go to go try and get the first one that let go. Once they all got a hold of each other, they wanted to try and swim as the current was pulling them to try and grab one of the tree stumps, so they can pull themselves up out of the river. But then they said they saw something in the water, and two of the boys found a tree growing out the middle of the river. They climbed the tree, and as they were looking down, they couldn't see their friend. Then they see something yellow rising to the top. Okay, this is getting interesting. All right, let's go, Mr. Ballen.
Now, the water is so dark they really can't tell what anything is unless it is at the surface. And so they're watching this yellow thing, and suddenly it comes out of the water, and they see it's Brett. He's got his yellow jacket on. That's what they saw. And Brett is in the mouth of a 13-foot-long saltwater crocodile.
Ooh.
He is face down, and his left side is being held in this animal's mouth, and he's not moving. And so Sean and Ashley are so scared, they're just frozen. They're just staring at this monster that's in the water, that's holding their friend underwater, and they can't do anything about it. And for 2 minutes, they just stand there looking at this animal, wondering what's going to happen. And for those entire 2 minutes, the crocodile stared right back up at Ashley and Sean, as if it was showing them what it was going to do to them once they got in the water. That I've done this to your friend, I'm getting you to as well. And so they're staring at this animal when suddenly it just kind of goes underneath the water, back down into the black abyss, and it, along with Brett, just disappear. Ashley suddenly stops talking to Sean and just looks straight down. And so Sean realizes what Ashley's doing, and he matches his gaze, and he looks straight down, and at the base of their tree, in that black water, is the 13-foot-long saltwater crocodile. It's back, and it no longer has Brett in its mouth. They have no idea where Brett is. He's just gone. Saltwater crocodiles are considered the most aggressive and dangerous crocodiles in the world. And they are one of only 2 crocodile species that will actively hunt humans when given a chance. And so these 2 teens are helpless in this tree. All they have is some separation from the black water and this animal down below. And so they just find themselves staring straight down at this crocodile. And in turn, this crocodile just stares right back up at them. It's very clearly waiting for them. It wants them to come out of the tree so it can eat them. And so the crocodile just continuously repositions itself all around the tree. It's just keeping the top of its head out of the water so its eyes can look up at them. And so the teens are just praying that at some point it will grow tired of them and will leave.
Bro, this is like a modern day Jurassic Park right here. Like, this completely reminds me of that scene where, like, the brother and the sister, like from Jurassic Park Part 1, where they were like hiding in like the kitchen, and the velociraptors were like opening doors and like looking for them down each section of the kitchen. That was like the creepiest part of that whole movie for me, was the velociraptors. This right here is like a real life situation that reminds me of it. Like, that would be so scary to be in the situation. 13-foot saltwater crocodile. Those things can run too. I heard they run faster than like 18 miles an hour. Ain't no human outrunning that. But it's only in short bursts. They can only really run in a straight line. So if you like zigzag on the croc, it can't catch you. But like, yeah, they can run like 18 to 20 miles an hour. Like, that's fast. Like, humans normally run somewhere between like probably like 8 and 12 miles an hour, averagely. Unless you're like Usain Bolt, like he's like the fastest human. I think he runs something crazy. But still, I mean, that's fast.
And after several hours, right as the sun is about to set, this crocodile does seem to give up on them, and it drifts under the water and disappears. And then he reaches up and he grabs a branch with his right hand, and he kind of tests it, and he feels like it's pretty sturdy. And then he puts all his weight on it and tries to reach for another branch when this one breaks. And as soon as that branch broke, Sean tumbled 10 feet into the water. So he hits the water, he goes all the way under, he sinks a few feet under, and immediately he's turned around and he's trying to swim as fast as he can to the surface, and he's just expecting at any moment this crocodile is going to bite him. He gets to the surface and he looks around. It's a little bit dark, but he can immediately see his tree, and he realizes the current has pulled him away from his tree. And so in a panic, he starts swimming and kicking his legs as hard as he possibly can to get back to this tree. And he knows the whole time he's kicking his legs, he's just attracting the attention of this crocodile, but he's got nothing else he can do. He's got no other tree he can reasonably get to that will provide safety from this animal. They see, with the little light that is left, this crocodile swimming right back over to the tree.
Oh, that's crazy. Hello? Can you give me like 15 minutes? I'm in the middle of shooting a YouTube video right now. I'm actually in the middle of shooting a YouTube video right now. I'm almost done with it. I got like 15 minutes, but I started getting text messages and I'm like reading the messages as I'm like trying to like do the video. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, so... All right then. Okay. All right. Bye.
It camps out right underneath. Sean had gotten out just in time. When the sun finally did set about 10 or 15 minutes later, it became pitch black. There's no ambient light in this part of the world. There aren't any buildings or cities close enough to this area, and so it is truly pitch black. And so they could no longer see the crocodile down below. But they knew it was there because periodically they would hear it repositioning itself right underneath them. Also, because it was so dark, the two teens could not actually see each other. And so they began holding on to each other, and then anytime either of them moved, they would announce their movement to the other, just so they knew they had not fallen asleep and were not falling out of the tree to a horrible death. And so a few hours went by like this, where it was silence with the exception of the sounds of this crocodile repositioning itself periodically. A little after midnight, a huge storm rolled into this area, and it began absolutely downpouring, and the raindrops that were hitting the river were so loud that the teens could no longer hear the sound of this crocodile, and so they had no idea if it was still down below them or not. But every time lightning would strike, it would illuminate the sky for that flash of a second, and in that flash they would look down, and there would be the crocodile. After several hours of this super intense downpour, the two teens also started to become concerned that all this additional rain could raise the water level of the river all the way up high enough that this crocodile might be able to jump out and reach their legs. But because it was so dark, they couldn't actually see the top of the water, and so they had no way of knowing if the water levels were actually rising or not. And so they both kind of sucked their legs up onto this branch and tried to make themselves as small as they could while still remaining anchored to each other and also to the branch. And that's how they sat for the next several hours, just hoping they would survive the night. Finally, when the sun came up that following morning, the teens immediately noticed that the crocodile was still right below them, just lurking at the base of the tree waiting for them, and they also noticed the water level of the river had clearly come up quite a bit.
That would be so creepy. Could you imagine, like, in the middle of the woods, like, where nobody lives? I mean, like, you're just in complete wilderness and in the middle of a riverbed where you know there's a 13-foot saltwater crocodile just waiting for you, and you're in the pitch black of night, like, and the water is rising. Oh my God, I would be frightened. You know, crocodiles can launch themselves like up out of the water. You know, they can easily come out of the water and probably that easily sit at least half of their length, you know, out of the water. I mean, it can snatch one of them if really try. That's scary. Yeah, that's really scary.
And so if they weren't rescued soon, there was a good chance that another heavy rainstorm, that crocodile would be in range of them, and there was nowhere they could go. They were as high up as they could get. Not to mention the fact they were hypothermic, they were weak, they were tired, and if you fall asleep, you're going to fall in the water. And so the two teens, they knew they did not have much time left. Luckily, at 10 a.m. that morning, they heard the sound of a police officer who was out in the mangrove forest. It turned out their families had recognized their absence. They had called the police, and that morning a search had been launched. They had found their truck and then had been walking down the river yelling out to them, and then they finally did find them. Initially, when they located these two teens stuck in the tree, they called in a helicopter to hover over them and lower down a ladder that could climb back up. But when the helicopter got close to this tree, the rotor wash from the spinning blades, it practically blew the boys out of the tree, and this crocodile was still in the water. The rescuers could see it, the boys could still see it, and so there was this fear that the helicopter would literally send them into the water to their death. And so they had to abandon the helicopter approach. However, the blades of that helicopter did ultimately scare this crocodile, and the crocodile swam away. And so as soon as the helicopter was off station, vacation, they had a boat come in, and the boat got right underneath the two boys. They jumped down into it, and they were brought to safety. The two boys were brought to a hospital where doctors determined they were physically okay, but both of them were severely traumatized from what they had just been through. As for
That
Brett, despite an exhaustive search of that river, they never found his body or any of his clothing or any belongings he had on him, and they never found the crocodile that killed him. So that's going to do it, guys. If you found the secret in today's episode, let us know in the comments section what it is and where you found it, so give us the timestamp. And if you're the first to do that, we'll pin you at the top of the comments section.
that's crazy. So I guess the guy Brett was eaten, and they never found him, any of his clothing, and never found the crocodile. With it being a saltwater crocodile, it probably just swam back out the sea. That's crazy. Like, that's why I don't play around with rivers, man. Like, you don't know. I mean, there's also a shark that can also survive in rivers and lakes. I believe it's a bull shark. Bull sharks have been known to come inland out of the ocean and basically go down rivers, and such like that. It's like this saltwater crocodile and actually eat humans. Like, it was a story like way back in the day in like the 1900s, where like some town here, and I think it was in America, where a bull shark had somehow entered a riverbed, a river stream, and and the stream connected to, like, it was like a water source for the town, whatever like that. And this bull shark killed like a crazy amount of kids, like, that played in the water, and adults and everything like that. And no one believed it for a long time, but they finally figured out it was a shark, and they were like, "What?" And that's when scientists came to realize that bull sharks can survive in like fresh water. They don't have to survive in ocean water. So it's insane.
If you got something out of today's episode and you haven't done this already, the next time the like button asks for a snack, offer to give them one, and proceed to heat up a cup o' noodles in the microwave for about 77 minutes, and then serve it to them in a flimsy paper cup. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly 1 or 2 video uploads. We are now selling merchandise like flannels and hats and sweatshirts and all sorts of stuff. If you're interested, go to shopmrballen.com. If you want to learn about upcoming deals and promotions for our shop, go to our shop's Instagram page. The username is shopmrballen. If you want to get in touch with me, you can direct message me on Instagram or on Twitter. My username is the same for both platforms. It's just Mr. Ballen. I also have a ton of content over on TikTok, where my username is also Mr. Ballen. We have a second YouTube channel just called Mr. Ballen Shorts, where we post random short videos and lost episodes. We also have a Facebook page just called Mr. Ballen, where we post condensed versions of the longer episodes you see on YouTube. If you have a story suggestion, please submit it to our subreddit just called Mr. Ballen. It's linked in the description below. So whether I see you on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, Facebook, or some combination, just know that I really appreciate your support. And until next time, that's going to do it. See ya.
Wow. Okay, so that was a pretty interesting story. Mr. Ballen coming through as usual. Okay, so man, that's crazy. I don't know what's more crazy, the fact that the boy was eaten by a 13-foot saltwater crocodile, or the fact that Mr. Ballen told us to warm up ramen noodle in a microwave for 77 minutes and then serve it in a flimsy cup. I don't know. Anyway, that's going to call it for today. Happy Halloween, everybody. I gave us 3 tonight. They were pretty good. Definitely. I'll be definitely shooting some more videos here soon in the upcoming future. Definitely like, subscribe, hit that bell icon on the Boss Reactions YouTube channel so you get any future updates. And yeah, so let's go ahead and finish this out. All right. All right, guys. So there we go. That was my Halloween special for Boss Reactions. Okay, so I hope you guys liked it. Yeah, that last story about Mr. Ballen, that was pretty crazy. I mean, because the thing is, whenever you listen to Mr. Ballen on YouTube, 99% of the time you're going to get like a legit story, like something that's actually factual, that actually happened and people lost their lives. It's actually a real scenario. I swear, like, looking at one of Mr. Ballen's YouTube videos and reacting to it is like literally watching true crimes, like on that one channel, True TV or whatever the case may be. But anyway, yeah, that was crazy with the whole like saltwater crocodile, because those are like the most aggressive, like, reptiles on the planet. I mean, size wise too. I mean, they're the biggest. I mean, those are probably the last thing closest to like a modern day dinosaur would probably be the saltwater crocodile, you know. And like I said, those things can run pretty fast. They can outrun a human in short distance. We can beat them in long range. In a long range run, we can outrun crocodiles. But in a short range, like if you're close to one and it takes off after you, oh yeah, they can lift their entire weight up. Their body weight is up. It's off the ground. They're coming at you full speed. Some people just get in shock and they don't move, and next thing you know, they snatched up in those jaws. You know, that's it. So, um, yeah, like it's a lot of stories about you know, crocodiles that can run long distance, which I think is not true, but there are some myths, like I said, in Africa, where they mentioned that there was a crocodile chasing people down and actually eating them, which is pretty crazy to think about. You know, having like an actual modern day dinosaur hunt you and chase you down like we are living in like prehistoric times. Like that's even crazy to think about. But supposedly there were like tribes in Africa this was actually happening to, and I was like, wow, really insane. Okay, so yeah, definitely. Thanks again for watching. Check me out when I upload the next videos. Definitely like and subscribe to the channel, Boss Reactions. Hit that bell icon on the side right there so you get any new updates happening with me in the channel for the reaction. All right, and as always, boss up.